Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. A couple of videos ago I got a chance to review something that is from my home country, which is Romania. If you haven't watched that video, I'll put a link in the corner of the screen for you guys to check out. But if you have watched that video, I mentioned that I've been living in Ireland for the last 10 years. In today's video, we're going to have a look at something that is a bit more special. It's from a micro brand called Sólás and it's based here in Ireland. The watch is called Starlight and it features a unique movement that could potentially be, to my knowledge, the only movement or the only watch to feature that movement at that price point. The watch will be live on Kickstarter on the 15th of October, and the owner of the company actually says that it has been a personal goal of his to bring something with this movement at an affordable price. Let's take a look. So there is the Sólás, guys. The Starlight is a passion project that is meant to bring the micro-rotor movement to a more decent and affordable price. And I have to admit that this concept is relatively new to me. And also, I think it's a breath of fresh air on the market. Even though the Seiko NH35 is still around for a good reason, that's because it's a tested movement, it's reliable, and it's been around for quite some time now. But on the flip side, I kind of like the fact that somebody took a leap of faith and just made something different that you don't see every day. Now let's get the measurements and specifications out of the way so you kind of have a better idea of what we're talking about. The watch has a diameter of 38 millimeters, has a thickness of 9.7 millimeters due to that rotor being nicely tucked away in the movement, has a lug width of 20 millimeters, and from lug to lug, that means from this point to this point, you have a 44 millimeters. The case, high polish finish all around. The crown is at the 3 o'clock position. Just a push-pull crown. It's not screwed in. It's a signed crown, so you have the Sólás logo engraved on the crown. The finishing on the case, it's nicely executed. It's beautiful. Again, high polished. It kind of gathers a lot of fingerprints. So this is just from me handing it around the studio. Now the case back. So the case back, it's a pressed display case back with 50 meters of water resistance. And to this is a sapphire case back, which is always nice to see, but personally, this is just me. I just think it's a bit unnecessary in general. I'm not sure how much it adds to the price, but in this case, it could have been a necessary cost-cutting solution, but that's just me. Now that beautiful movement, I'll just leave it there for you guys to kind of have a look for a little bit, but we'll get back to that in a little while. The dial, so we have a flat sapphire crystal covering that aventurine dial. You have dolphin style hands. You can barely see them, as you can see. It's very reflective. At the 12 o'clock position, we have the Sólás logo, which is applied. At the 3 o'clock position, we have a date window with a black background, which might be a bit difficult to see. But it also kind of gets a bit lost in that mesmerizing dial, I have to say. Between 7 and 8, we have the second subdial, which I have to say it is a bit of a unusual position for me specifically, but in my opinion, it does work really well with the overall balance. At the 6 o'clock position, we have the printed Darta Irene. I wish I could say this correctly. Now, as you can see, I'm just going to get it a little bit of closer for you guys to have a look, which means design in Ireland, and that, like I said, is printed. No loom on these hands or any of the markers, and to be quite honest, I don't think it would work with the overall theme of the watch. Now, turning the watch around, I'm just going to turn it for you guys to have a look. We'll talk a little bit about the start of the show, but before we get into it, I just want to leave this a little bit for you guys again to have a closer look, because I just think it's a beautiful, gorgeous movement. The movement is powering this is a Hangzhou 5000A with around 42 hours of power reserve, high beats 28,800 beats per hour, hand winds, but it does not hack. So as you can see, I'm hand winding it right now, but when I pull the crown out, the second hand at the second subdial there still turns. So it's okay. It doesn't specifically bother me. You know, I'd rather have it hand winding than not hacking. So I never specifically thought there was an issue with any of the watches. Now let's just get back to the movement. Nice touch engraved on the micro rotor. You have the Sólás logo there. One of the positives about this movement is because the rotor is so small, it can be, like I said, nicely tucked away in the movement without giving too much thickness to the watch. Moving on to the strap, guys. So Horween, soft Horween leather, quick release spring bars, and the leather is actually very, very soft and comfortable. The deployant clasp, double pushers to release, and it has this kind of sliding system that I have to say has its positives and its negatives. The buckle has the Sólás logo engraved on it. The inside of the buckle doesn't have the best finishes, I have to say, but I think the quality of the strap kind of makes up for it. And when I was saying that this kind of system has its positives and its negatives is because Horween leather does actually gather marks very, very easily. If you don't get this right when you adjust it, you will leave marks on the strap. As you can see here, mine has a couple of marks on it. There is a video showing you how to do that. So I think that even if you do get this right, because the strap is relatively new, you know, it will gather those marks. The positive side of this buckle is the fact that only, let me just close it, only a little metal gets in touch. It'll be in contact with your, very little metal will be in contact with your skin. So you only get to feel the leather. Again, not the best of clasps, but it'll kind of make up for it. This is a prototype, so maybe this thing would kind of be addressed in the finished product. I'm just stating what I think is wrong. But again, it's kind of get to that point in the video where I have to mention what I do and don't like. It's not everything, you know, butterflies and roses. I'm just going to start with the things that I don't like. Even though we just spoke about it, I have to mention the strap and the buckle. I have to mention the actual buckle. I think this should have been a bit better on the finishing. It's not the best, even though there is a way to adjust that strap. It'll still leave a mark on it. On the back of it here, another thing that I'm not particularly keen on is the sapphire. Again, maybe I'm the only person that complains that it has sapphire on the case back, but to be completely honest, it's not even actually a complaint. It's more of a comment. I think it could have been a good way for a cost-cutting solution, but because you don't get to see it, and considering the fact that this watch starts at around $400 on Kickstarter, again, just putting all of that into balance, that's just me. Now let's just get through the things that I do like. Now, in a way, I don't think this watch has really an identity, which is not a bad thing. This is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if you follow what I'm saying here. It just gives the impression that it does not care. Now, the dial, even though it's 38 millimeters, because that bezel is very, very slim, and that aventurine dial that is very hard to kind of film, as you can see here, it does look slightly bigger on the wrist, which I like for a 38 millimeter watch, so it wears a bit bigger, and you kind of get lost into that beautiful dial. And last but finally, not least, the thing that I like the most, it has to be that movement. Now, I'm kind of contradicting myself here a little bit. Even though it's not necessarily a proven movement like what you normally find at this price point, people might be hesitant to pay the $400 asking price. But we kind of tend to forget that there are micro brands out there that come out with the famous NH35. Now that movement costs significantly less to produce and to put into a watch. And to be completely honest, guys, weirdly enough, I would rather have this one. Even though it's not proven, like I said, I'd still be willing to take a risk. So there you have it, guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about the watch, about the movement. Would you buy something like this? Is it something that you would be interested in? And also, don't forget to click a like and subscribe to the channel if you have enjoyed the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.